using good equipment in the wrong way produces a bad result. For example, the cell phone that I'm recording this video on is a great tool for communication, but it's a terrible hammer. You could use it as a hammer, but you're likely not going to get the result you want, and you're likely going to wreck your phone. The same is true when we come to Scripture. The Scripture is a good instrument. It is a good tool to use, but when used incorrectly, it causes trouble and harm. And in fact, the passage that is meant to do something good for us ends up making us feel worse. We have a passage like that this week that we're going to preach through. It's a passage that's really familiar. In fact, if you know anything from the book of Philippians, you likely know this verse. From chapter 4, verses 4 through 7, the verse says, "Rejoice in the Lord always." I will say it again, rejoice. "Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but with prayer and thanksgiving, present your requests to God." Right? You know that passage. It ends by saying that the peace of God will guard our hearts and minds, right? And so we've taught that passage, but I believe we've used it in an incorrect way. I think lots of times we pulled that passage out and it's ended up making people feel worse instead of making them feel better. And I think that's because we focused on the wrong part. So this Sunday, we're going to try and correct that. I'm going to show you how we've incorrectly used this passage, and then I'm going to show you what we should have been thinking about as we read it all along. The sermon is called Peace on Earth, Finding Christ's Blessing in Our Thoughts. We're going to try and show you how to use this passage to guide your thinking to find the peace of Christ in a way you probably haven't heard before. In our Bible study at 10 o'clock, we are coming to the end of 1 Samuel. So we this time are in 1 Samuel's chapter 29 and 30. And in these two chapters, and we're going to study them together because they're relatively short, David gets an opportunity to prove his character once again. That's the great thing about David, is that he is always proving himself to be a good man. He doesn't just talk about it. He actually shows himself to be the type of person that he talked about being. And that's what character really comes down to. Anyone can say the words. It comes down to actually doing it, though. And the areas in which King David shows his character are areas in which we need to examine our own character as well. He may have lived more than 2,000 years ago, but his situations are still parallel to ours. We prove our own character in these same ways, so it would be good to know what David did and how he reacted so we can do the same things. The passage that we are studying, 1 Samuel 29 and 30. So go ahead and read that if you like. Once again, I'll remind you that we are serving lunch after worship this Sunday, and so we had lots of people stay last week, and that was really nice. So please, once again, bring sandwiches, maybe bring soup if you want to, desserts, chips, vegetables, just something simple, and bring enough for your family and for one more family so we can invite visitors to stay. And please make plans to stay with and visit with everyone. It's such a nice and easy way to connect, and we'll encourage you to be part of that as well. I'm really looking forward to Sunday, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you there.